Welcome to BYOB. Now is the time to build your own business and push your brand forward. Join us each week for fresh, innovative strategies to bring your brand and business to new heights. Call in at 888-994-4995, Studio B. Now let's get to the show.
Bridget Hom here, and I am your host for BYOB. It's all about bringing your own business here. And today I have a very special, and I am super excited because this is going to be an epic interview. I'm excited to introduce to you my friend, Brian Daly.
Hey, Bridget, how are you?
I'm great, Brian. How are you today?
Doing great. Yeah, I love that intro. That was terrific.
I thought you were going to say it was epic.
It was colossal.
It was colossal.
It was great.
Right? So, Brian, I'm so excited because today we get to share what Epic Business Connections actually is with the world at large and how it's changing how people do business. And because it's all about relationships, I'm sure you could agree with that. And what Epic Business Connections has done for me, I'd love to share about that. But I really want to share, what the story was behind Epic Business Connections. Like, how did it get started?
Well, 2008, I was in the mortgage business. I had always been a financial advisor. And every year that went by, I was doing more and more mortgages. And I woke up in 2008 and I was in the mortgage business up to my eyeballs. It was great up until about 2008. And it was sort of like in business, driving a car at 90 miles an hour into a brick wall. And it just suddenly stopped. And I really needed to reinvent myself and my business and my market and all that. And wasn't sure how I was going to do that. A friend of mine ran a business networking group, invited me. They didn't have a spot. So I said, well, I'll start my own. At the same time, I got a connection request from another friend. And I was so clueless at the time, I called it Like It In. So I called him on the phone. I said, hey, Frank, what is this Like It In thing? He said, I don't know. I thought this is 2008, right? LinkedIn. And 2008, and social media really hadn't caught on at that point just yet. And he said, well, I thought it'd be good for us to have each other's contact information. I'm like, Frank, I've known you for years. I've got all your contact information. Why do I need it again? So I started digging a little bit further and realized that, I wanted to do a business referral and networking group, but I wanted to marry the online with the offline. And that began we started doing coffee meetings and luncheons and so on. But I was connecting with so many people so fast. We were growing, just crazy growth, throughout Palm Beach County, Broward, Miami-Dade, Orlando, Tampa, Jacksonville, so on. So it was one of the best business decisions I've ever made because 100% of my business comes from word of mouth and from referrals.
Absolutely. Wow. So that's how it started. So I'm curious. So Like It In, LinkedIn, as we would say now, how and everyone's kind of moved into LinkedIn on business, especially during the COVID days. Our LinkedIn connections have now become community. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. Sure.
So with Epic Business Connections, so it started like that. It started pretty organically. What has it become today?
Well, as a result of the pandemic, everything moved to Zoom, Zoom and online meetings. And that really opened up my eyes to say, we're not limited to a particular geography. Now, some professions are, real estate, pest control, chiropractor, they're not going to travel to another state, et cetera. But so we really greatly expanded during the pandemic. And for me and my business, it's never been better.
That's amazing. So Epic Business Connections used to just be those normal networking meetings, those coffee meetings, those breakfast meetings where you would try to set up one-on-ones maybe. But now Epic Business Connections has actually become not only Zoom meetings or once a week, but multiple times a week in multiple cities and now globally. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're 5 national groups, 22 in Florida and 37 cities, and we're kind of expanding into the UK and Canada. Kind of.
Kind of. Kind of. So you have a few, random people from Australia, Scotland, Canada,
Right.
who kind of just trickle in some days and say, hey, I'm here. And then it makes
Right.
the meeting more exciting, right?
It is. It's pretty cool.
Oh, that's fantastic. So Epic has epically expanded because of the COVID days, because everyone has moved to launching their businesses online. And then they want to meet new people. They want to generate new referrals, new contacts. And in this market right now, I mean, there's no better place to meet someone than on a Zoom meeting. Wouldn't you say?
I think, well, I know for sure that I've had more one-on-one follow-up meetings after the pandemic than I did before the pandemic. Because if you think about it, you've got to drive to the location, you have breakfast. After the meeting is over, a lot of people beat feet for the door and they're on their way off to start their day. Now,
Absolutely.
people can stick around. They don't have the travel time that they had before, and they can stick around for the one-on-ones. And I think that's really been the key, has been building those friendships and relationships and getting to know people. When you first meet them, it's, hi, my name is, and this is my brochure and my company and my firm and all that other stuff. And then you get to know them as people. Now we assume professional, expertise and that sort of thing. But we really want to know them as people. And once friends become friends, business friends, and friendships develop, they root for their friends to do well. Most people, most people root for their friends to do well. And that's really the, the beginning, starting with how did I get started with this? I read a few good books on networking. One of the first books is Bob Berg, Endless Referrals. In fact, Bob's going to be on our call a week from Thursday. He lives in Jupiter, Florida. He wrote the book Endless Referrals and The Go Giver. And they're phenomenal books. A few others, Keith Ferrazzi, Never Eat Alone, Ivan Meisner, Networking Like a Pro, and basically took those ideas, which, by the way, at the time were not online yet, and brought them online. And it's kind of funny now, the online is sort of offline, meaning, I'm not really sure whether Zoom is or teleconferencing is kind of a mix between the two of online and offline, right? Before I used to say, if you connect with somebody on LinkedIn, and having a whole bunch of connections is just about meaningless until you get to know them, right? And until they get to know you. So you want to take it offline. And I used to say offline was even a phone call. But now offline can be kind of online with video conferencing because you get to make that connection. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Because the offline is the one-on-ones. The offline is, making that connection past just business. And I think that's really what, Epic Business Connections is about. And I personally experienced that on, more than a couple of your Zoom calls. And because it really does we have to break free from the sales pitch. We have to take the business out of the relationship so that our relationships generate business. And so it's really, really important. And it's amazing how doing these Zoom calls and joining them just, usually to create more business, right? Let's just be honest. It's to create more business. Sure. But also the undercurrent of that has become creating these amazing relationships. like that are more than just, getting them a referral, that is more than just that, that the BNI, which BNIs are great and all of that, but it's become more than that. It's sharing another good person with another good person. And that's the beautiful thing, I think, that you have going on with Epic Business Connections. And so I want to give this opportunity for the people who are watching right now, who are part of Epic Business Connections or not yet, to plug in right now and to give us a shout. Give us an empowering comment. Say hey to Brian Daly, say hi to me, or whatever. It's shout out to your friends. Call us so that we can have an epic connection with you right now at 888-994-4995 Studio B.
Cool. Awesome.
Go on.
So I wanted to hit on a couple points that you brought up. And number one was one of the big game changers. And folks say my group. It's really our group, right? Collectively, I never would have been able to do it without the help of many, many other people. I think last count we were probably somewhere around 70,000 members, which is astounding to me. But everyone brings contributions to the table. I have not only done business, which has been terrific, but we've also made great friendships. I've gotten tremendous value, and I've picked up life-changing things from the call. Now, I know that sounds kind of deep and, life-changing, really, from a Zoom meeting. Yeah, really, it has been. Some of the comments that you have made and others have made have impacted my life, that later on that day and for several days and for quite some time makes me start to think and rethink a lot of what I'm doing in life and in business. And one of those things was the non-pitch pitch. That's been the greatest contribution. Thank you, Bridget, for that. Doing the non-pitch pitch, because, everybody's got their, my firm we'll cut you a deal and come by and give us and we got the best prices in town and, all that other stuff. Nobody listens to any of that. Nobody really hears that. But getting to connect with them and getting to know them as people really makes, and the friendships that have come from it over the years have been absolutely tremendous. And if I could tell one quick story.
I would love that, please.
Okay. We've been doing this since the beginning of the pandemic. I shut down all the lunches and coffees and meetings and so on. And we went immediately to Zoom. Now, we had been doing a lot of stuff online, so it wasn't that big of a switch for us to do that. And a few weeks ago, after we had been doing Zoom meetings for a while, a couple of folks traveled from Orlando to Fort Lauderdale, and we're going to have lunch. Now, it was a socially distanced lunch, and, for all the folks that are panicked about it. But what happened was folks that had never met in person finally got to meet in person. And they were so excited to be together in person that it was sort of like a little family reunion thing happening, which is, it's come full circle from where I started it, which was going online to offline. Now we're going offline. I'm a little confused as to which is which these days, but isn't that really cool? I can't wait until the pandemic is lifted and we can, because we're going to go back to socials, because I still think there needs to be that person-to-person connection. But for me, I'm Zooming all over the country every day, and I still have a full tank of gas in my car from February. Which
exactly, that's amazing. First of all, I don't think I'm quite in that full tank of gas. I've probably gone through 4 or 5, but that the reality of what you just said was that the COVID days has drastically transformed how we do business, and I would say that it's exponentially increased the amount of business we're able to do and the amount of connecting we're able to do. And I'm not sure why, when we used to do the old-fashioned way of networking, so to speak, let's call it pre-COVID days, that we didn't have these invaluable, thriving one-on-one experiences like we do now. Like you said, the people who have only met on Zoom calls had a really engaging family-like experience for meeting for the first time, but they've been Zooming for months, and that's really, really powerful. And I think that's a testimony to the power of being on Zoom, breaking free from the sales pitch, and then establishing those one-on-one connections. Because here's the deal, we've cut out that travel time. So now we have more hours in the day to connect to more people, to share the things that we're doing, the ways we get to help people, and then connect with different cultures, out in California, out in Canada, out in Scotland, in Indiana, different places that we would have never thought possible to help people. So we're really breaking out of the box, so to speak, in how we do relationships in business. And you're making that happen, Brian.
Well, we're making it happen, right? We all make it happen. Listen, if it's really good stuff, I'll take all the credit. If it's not, yeah. Well, but and by the way, now we have groups in Louisville, Kentucky. We've got them in Salt Lake City, Utah, San Jose, California, San Diego. And I do one on Monday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, which is 5 p.m. Pacific. And it's a national call, but it really allows folks to really get on there. So it's not only extended my reach, but it's also extended my day. Who would have been doing an 8 p.m., not me, an 8 p.m. networking thing? Maybe the after hours thing or whatever, the socials, but, doing the 8 p.m., 8 till 9 p.m., because quite frankly, at 9:01, I'm in my pajamas, ready to go to bed. You know what I'm saying? So it extended my workday as well as my geographic reach as well. So it's been, if there's anything good to come out of the pandemic, I think it's changing the way people live, the way people work, more and more people working from home, the way we network. It forced people to accept and adopt new technology, which is, I think is going to be a breakthrough.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And again, Bridget Hom here with BYOB, and I'm here with Brian Daly, the creator of Epic Business Connections. And we want to hear from you right now. I challenge you to give us a call in, give us a shout out, and ask a question, or just say, hey, Brian, your hair looks great. Or, Bridget, I like your white jacket. Something simple, right? At 888-994-4995 Studio B. And Brian, I kind of want to piggyback off of that idea of, the better connections, the fact that the Zoom calls are so thrilling that you're willing to jump on at 8 p.m. on a Monday night. So I want to hear a little bit about, let's talk about those fun experiences on these Zoom calls, and then how people can get connected, how they can plug in to these experiences.
Sure. Again, great suggestion and great ideas coming back from people in the group. Someone said, hey, why don't we have a book club? So we started a book club. Someone else said, why don't we have a women's group? We have a women's group. Someone said, why don't we have faith-based group? We have a faith-based group. Well, so we have Latino Business Connection. And by the way, each one of them, we have the health and wellness group as well. So it's not just the business networking, it's also forming communities as well. And the next thing that we're most excited about is we've been doing this mainly on Facebook, but I originally started on LinkedIn, and we actually have more folks on LinkedIn and in the groups than we do on Facebook. But the problem is there's no connections to those people. They're just members of a group. If you call them on the phone and said, hey, have you ever heard of Epic Business Connection? 9 out of 10 of them be like, what? I don't even know what you're talking about. So we're starting to do LinkedIn parties. We're going to have a LinkedIn party Wednesday night, as a matter of fact, 8 p.m. And we're going to show people not only are we going to show them how to use LinkedIn as a tool to connect and do business, first of all the social media is terrific, but LinkedIn for business, especially business to business, is there's nothing like it. You can do things with LinkedIn that you can. What's that? It's epic, right? Exactly.
Epic.
Yeah, yeah. And there are things that you can do on LinkedIn that you can't do on any other platform, and so we're going to show folks. Let's face it. Everybody's been on LinkedIn. They go there and they go, I don't even know why I bother. I'm not making any contacts. I send people messages and they don't respond, or I get a ton of spam messages that, whatever. So we're going to teach on how to do that. And then the other is, and this was the most astounding thing I ever found out recently, is there's 9 billion impressions each week on LinkedIn. There's 500 million people on LinkedIn, 150 million from the United States, producing 9 billion impressions. Here's the earth-shaking news. 1% of the people on LinkedIn are getting 100% of those 9 billion impressions each week.
Wow.
Right? How's that possible? Well, only 1% of the folks that are posting members, a lot of people are on LinkedIn, but they're not doing any posting on LinkedIn, number one. Number two is they've not figured out the algorithm and how LinkedIn shows your message to other people. Well, we have, and we're going to use our collective power as a group to raise folks up in their algorithm on LinkedIn. We're going to have fun. We're going to connect. We're going to help other people connect. And we're going to change the whole dynamic of the groups on LinkedIn. And imagine the power that we have right now, right, with the number of connections and stuff we're doing with Facebook. It's easily double that on LinkedIn if we can tap into having fun, building relationships, doing business, and of course, helping people get found and seen online. So I'm looking forward to that in a big, big way.
That is super exciting. So how can people join this LinkedIn party this Wednesday at 8 p.m.?
Great question. You can find us on social media, Epic Business Connection. We have a ton of them. Epic Business Connection with no name, right? Just Epic Business Connection, because we have Epic Palm Beach and Broward and Orlando and so on. You can also find us on Epic Business Connection and Facebook groups. You can also go to our website at ninja-networking.com, ninja-networking.com, and more information on there, what our groups, our meetings, and all that.
That's awesome. And so you said Ninja Networking. So is there a difference between Ninja Networking and Epic Business Connections?
No, it's a website that we set up. We're just now in the process of setting up a website so that folks don't have to go to 30 different Facebook groups or 10 different LinkedIn groups to find members, connections, meetings, groups, sort of a one central place to find all the information.
So a member directory in layman's terms.
Remember, we're doing exactly. We're doing a member directory. We also have our own social media like platform, which is our own internal Facebook. And we also have a business to business directory. We're not charging anyone to get listed in our business to business directory as well. So not only the networking directory, but also the business to business, or it could be business to the world. What we found there, Bridget, is we get more hits and traffic on our website than folks generally get on their own standalone website. In fact, many people get more traffic coming from our website than they do anywhere else because of our collective power.
That's phenomenal. And you said how many in your network of Epic Business Connections? 70,000?
Yeah, it depends on how you count it. Now, remember, a lot of those folks, if you called them up and asked them if they were part of Epic, they would be like, who? But how many are active and engaged and so on? Well, we want to get that to the 70,000 mark.
Absolutely. And I mean, if you look at how much you've grown just since March, I mean, that probably won't take you long at all.
No.
I mean,
and we're
honestly,
we're only scratching the surface. We haven't even started scratching the surface of what's possible.
So this business endeavor has been pretty profound for you. Yes, right? Mind blown, and pretty profound in terms of just relationship building.
It's been a blast. It's been an absolute blast. You know, you and I would have never met.
Isn't that
right?
I know. It's pretty crazy how that all works, and how all of these good things have come out of something, something horrible like a pandemic that none of us had ever anticipated. So the reality is, as entrepreneurs and in this lifestyle, you have to be on ready. You have to be constantly, okay, I see this obstacle. Now where's the opportunity in it? Right?
Stuck on ready.
Stuck on ready, right? So for anyone who wants to join, the epic business connections and an epic way we do business, reach out to Brian personally. I think I could say that. Brian, reach out to Brian Daly personally, because let's be honest, he's an epic one-on-one, and he can show you how to use LinkedIn to benefit you, and how to put this LinkedIn party, which is going to be the first of many, and how to really grow your business, but grow your relationships at the same time, because that is what is going to serve you and having the life that you really deserve. Wouldn't you agree, Brian?
Totally. Do you know why stuck on ready, Bridget? Because it takes too long to get ready. That's why you have to be stuck on ready, because it takes too long to get ready.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with you. And that's the truth. And, leaders like you, Brian, and who you've called into leadership for these groups, you gift people opportunities to plug in. And that is who you are. And just your entrepreneurial spirit is something that's contagious. And that's why these groups are continuing to grow well and do well. And so, Brian, with Epic Business Connections, reach out to Brian personally on Facebook or LinkedIn, and get ready for this LinkedIn party this week at 8 p.m. And thank you for joining me on BYOB. See you next week.
Thank you for tuning in to BYOB. Join us next time for a fresh perspective and innovative strategies to building your own business. If you are a successful business owner with tips to help, or would like more information from our hosts or guests, please contact us at 866-224-5422. See you next time.